Facebook Live. What's going on, everybody? Today I'm out here at the Irving Convention Center. It's a financial expo and financial service expo. We'll go take a look. Financial Services Expo. Got my table set up. Got my award out there. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta have signage. Y'all know we have to have signage. Have to have signage. But look, really quickly, I just wanted to share with y'all just three quick points on how to get to your destiny. Everybody, if you're just taking the time to hop in, you say, who's this guy? Somebody shared this link. I don't know this guy. So my name is Jonathan Jones. I'm best-selling author of the book entitled Process, 14 Surprisingly Simple Behaviors to Skyrocket Millennials to Success. And today, like I said, I just want to share how to get to your destiny. How to get to your destiny. Everybody that's popping in, Mercedes, what's going on? I appreciate the love. It means a lot. But everybody's popping in, man. Some of y'all may have heard this story before. Some of you may have not heard it, but I still feel like sharing it. And I think this is going to be a good message. This is going to be really beneficial to somebody today. So really quickly, I was at school, and then my teacher says, Jonathan, I need to talk with you. I said, yes, ma'am. What do we need to talk about? She said, Jonathan, I need to talk with you about your writing. She said, your writing, it's lacking. I said, well, what do you mean? She said, Jonathan, it's just not up to par. She said, you're just not getting done what you need to get done. I said, well, okay, well, tell me what you're talking about. And then at this point, you know, I'm like, oh, God, why am I in this teacher's office? Has anybody ever been like that? Like you got called to a teacher's office, or they called you outside and you're like, I don't want to talk to you. They're like, no, we need to talk. You're like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't care what you have to say because you're wrong. And I don't want to hear what you got to say. If that's been you, somebody please say, that's me. But so she called me in. I'm sitting down. We're going through these papers. She's like, you're struggling in writing. She was like, this is a weakness for you. And anybody who knows me knows I don't really like the term weak. I prefer the term area of opportunity. I prefer the term potential area for improvement. I don't like the term weak because when I hear weak, I think of like a little weakling that's like an animal or something and they just struggle. I don't like it. So she calls me and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm biting my tongue. I'm like, okay, what does she have to say? And then she pulls up an email and she points to the email. She says, Jonathan, what's that? And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, I don't see how this is possible. And she pointed to my signature because my signature says I'm an Amazon bestselling author. And I said, well, what do you mean? How is that? You don't understand how that's possible. It's what it is. It says I'm a bestselling author. It means I sold a certain amount of books. It means I made this happen. What are you saying? And y'all, I really wanted to go tit for tat with her because she was a teacher. I was like, I'm going to be respectful. I don't want to say anything that could put me in a worse position. So I was like, I'm just going to listen. I'm going to hear her out. So then Mercedes, I'm sitting there listening and then she's like, I just don't understand. Like you struggle with writing, but you're best. How is that possible? And I said, well, since you keep on pushing, I said, look, this is what happened. I said, first of all, I got the book edited 5, 6, maybe 7 times after I wrote my book. And I worked on that for about like a year. It was actually like 2 years. I worked on it and I was like, man, so at that time, then, you know, after all these people edited, I put in that amount of time and I was diligent with that and that's how it took place. And she's like, well, I don't understand why it doesn't translate to your papers, ma'am. Ma'am, come here. Ma'am, come here. So then I told her, I was like, I'm not going to sit there and edit a paper 6 and 7 times, nor do I have a year to work on a paper, ma'am. So I said, that's not, you know, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but I'm not, because that's not going to happen. So y'all, plain and simply put, man, she was really challenging me. Have any of y'all ever felt like somebody's been challenging your integrity? Anybody who's hopping on the broadcast, take the time to please just share this, because I want to encourage somebody today, because too often people put us down and they think they can just make it. People tell us what they think that we are. And then at certain times they'll have us believing what they've been feeding us because they said so, but That's not the truth. So yeah, I was in that point. I was in that position. Then after that, then I was like, man, I kept my composure. I made it out the office. I had to slide out of there. And then she really had me down. She really had me beat, Mercedes. She really had me feeling a type of way. Like I was feeling in a funk for some months. I didn't want to believe what she was saying, but then it was like I allowed it. I allowed it to take residence in my head, not in my house, in my head, and it really messed me up. Then eventually, then I realized that I can't believe what she's telling me. I can't believe because she doesn't know my purpose. Just because she didn't affirm me does not necessarily mean I'm not affirmed. Just because she doesn't believe that I, am capable of doing what I did does not mean that that's the case. So therefore, once she said that, I was like, man, nah. A couple months passed, y'all. And then I eventually snapped out of it due to having great friends around me, due to having supportive people in my corner. Then I was able to snap out of it. But really quickly, I want to share with you just 3 quick points. These are 3 points on how you get to your destiny, man. How you get to your destiny. Because plain and simply put, these are 3 things that can get in the way of you getting to your destiny. So therefore, when you eliminate these things, then you can get to that destiny. Yeah. So first, I want to share with you the first one that I came across. I was like, man, what's something that gets in the way? What's something that gets in the way? I want you to write distractions in the bottom, in the comment section. Write distractions. Because plain and simply put, distraction is anything that, can take the time away from us focusing on the main goal. For instance, we want to graduate from grad school. But while we're in grad school, then we want to still live our party life. We want to still get out there and date everybody. We want to still live for the night. We want to stay up late, sleep in, do all these things. But at the same time, that doesn't apply when we're trying to go to grad school. If we're trying to focus on get our graduate school degree, we need to shift some things. We can't allow ourselves to be distracted by the way of life we are living before grad school. So whatever it is you're facing right now, whatever it is you're going through, I want to challenge you. Eliminate the distractions. Because distractions are something that will hold you back, and they take up more time than they need to. And they're not adding value to you. They're taking value away. Especially if you want to graduate from grad school, you got to put in that time. You got to study. You got to read. And if you're out clubbing all the time, that's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. That's the first D. The second D. The second D is deterrence. And when I was looking at this, after I just shared the story, I was like, deterrence is something that shifts us from being fully all in invested. It can cause fear. Just like my teacher at the time, she caused me to have fear in that situation. And then that deterred me from going all in with my book. That deterred me from really focusing on my purpose and empowering others. That deterred me from doing what I was supposed to do. And then lastly, plain and simply put, because we got distractions, we got deterrence, and then we have distance. Distance is this thing that's in between you and your goal. In order for you to achieve the goal, you have to shorten the distance. For instance, if it's trying to graduate from grad school, yes, there's time ahead, but you can take time. You can get a work study. You can take time to do an internship. You can take time and then cut out the distance. But I want to challenge y'all today, take time, invest in yourself. Invest in cutting out the distance. Invest in shifting the distractions. Start doing things that are investing into your life as opposed to taking away from them. And don't allow things to deter you. Don't allow things to deter you. Once again, my name is Jonathan Jones, best-selling author of the book entitled Process. I hope to hear from you soon. Bye, friends.